Hey everybody, it's Monday. That means it's Flashback Monday. I hope you will stick with me. This is where we look at books that I was reading back in 2007 with my book Bible as my guide. So welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, K-R-I-S-T-I-N-A. I read books, talk about books, series books mainly. I like to binge read series. If you watch General Hospital or any serial, nighttime serial, or like we binge watching Star Trek on Friday. We're doing Next Generation. We're into season 4. Please check that out. I post a book review daily, almost daily, depending on how fast I'm reading and how engrossed I am in the series. And then every once in a while I find a standalone, but most of the time it's a series related. We're doing a couple series right now. We're doing J.D. Robb, Eve Dallas. She's a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. We are doing the At Stakes, the Carolyn Sparks series. We're doing the Argonos with the Lindsay Sand series. And we're doing Laurel K. Hamilton, the Anita Blake series at this time. I've got an Ann Perry series coming down the road, and Janet Ivanovich coming down the road, and Cheryl and Kenyon coming down the road. So there's a lot coming up. And so my book Bible, Romantic Time Book Reviews. It used to be RT Book Reviews, and then it was like Book Reviews or RT or something. This was my Bible way back when. I read this magazine 200-300 times a month. I'm still reading this magazine, and it's from 2007. There is no other magazine like this. There is just no other magazine in existence today like this. Yes, there are review magazines, but they do not review the volume and the type of books that this magazine did. So I'm going to try a couple, this is it. This is what you get. I have no special effects. I have no theme music. None of that stuff. I'm going to try every once in a while. I'm going to try today maybe. I'll see if it works. If you see something, it worked. If you don't see something, it didn't work. Because I don't know yet. So, the first book, and we'll get back to it. What'd I do? Oh. Okay, so the first book, and we'll get back to it again later. Hidden Moon. There we go, Hidden Moon. Claire Kennedy left Lake Bluff, Georgia for the bright lights of Atlanta and a promising career in journalism. Now recovering from a cruel betrayal, she's back in the one place she always felt safe, starting over as Lake Bluff's new mayor. But then trouble comes to town in the form of Malachi Cartwright, a man whose past is as mysterious as his present, a man who awakens something dangerous and sensible, realistic Claire. And we'll come back. We'll revisit that in a minute. So the magazine covered all different genres. Oh, and you might know these ladies, Brenda Novak and Karen Rose. They're still cooking it away. Oh, and Miss Kellerman, she's still out there too. Now, I did a Brenda Joyce video way back when. Check that out. The detective series, The Amateur Sleuths from 1900. That was my series, and I liked it. But she also did the Warrens. I never actually read those. They were really popular, and that's why she gave up the series that I liked, because her fans apparently liked this one better, the DeWarrens. And this is The Perfect Bride. A wounded war veteran, Rex D. Warren, lives in lonely exile at Land's End in Cornwall. He has lost all hope for the future until the day the woman he has secretly admired for almost 10 years appears on his doorstep. So, I love this magazine. I can read it for hours. Okay. The top historical romance for August 2007. Carolyn Carey, Compromising Situations. Liz Carlisle, which we will get to in a minute, Never Deceive a Duke. Susan Carroll, The Huntress. Beth Ciota, Romancing the West. So those are your romance, historical romance. Robyn DEHART, 4.5 stars. Willow Madison is a practical, independent amateur sleuth who despises arrogant Scotland Yard detective Lord James Sterling. When a famous photographer is murdered and her mother is implicated, Willow accepts James' wager to find the killer first. 4.5 stars. A Reason to Believe, Maureen McCabe. When war widow DeLucy McDaniel returns home, her father is lynched for a crime he didn't commit. DeLucy is determined to run the family farm, bring in the harvest, and make a home for her small daughter. Rye Foster must find DeLucy and tell her about his role in her husband's death, but instead he offers to bring in the harvest and decides to tell the story later. Brenda Joyce, The Perfect Bride, which I mentioned. Lady Blanche Harrington has avoided marriage for years, but her father's death makes it imperative that she wed a man to handle her fortune. But not one of her many suitors is the man she truly desires in her heart. War hero Rex de Warren shuns society and lives as a recluse. He's always admired Blanche and will try to help her find a good man. So check it out. I remember this lady. The Northern Devil, Diane Whiteside. Rachel Davis began corresponding with Lucas Granger as her husband's secretary, but the two of them became friends. When her husband dies, Rachel, a wealthy widow, is kidnapped by Albert Collins, a trustee of the Davis estate, who plans on forcing Rachel to marry his son so he can gain control of the Davis Trust. Okay. This is one of their biggest sections. Juliet Langdon, Dishonor and Desire, 3 stars. Katerina Chesterton leads a good life as the daughter of a landed merchant. She resisted marriage, even broken off 2 engagements. But when her brother incurs a huge gambling debt to Sir Chase Boston, he offers to cancel it if she is successful in wooing her. Mainstream fiction is the blue category. 4.5 stars. Loving Frank, Nancy Horan. In the early 20th century, Frank Lloyd Wright designs a home for Edwin and Mama Cheney. As the Wrights and Cheneys begin seeing each other socially, Mama and Frank develop an attraction that blooms into a long-term, global-spanning affair. Still Summer, Jacqueline Mitchard. Olivia, Holly, Tracy, and Janice have been friends since high school. More than 20 years later, Olivia is the widow of a wealthy Italian and pays for them all to embark on a luxury sailboat cruise around the Caribbean. When Janice's husband becomes ill, Tracy's beautiful college-age daughter, Cami, takes her place. Trisha R. Thomas, 4.5 stars. In the sequel to Nappily Ever After, Venus Johnson learns that finding the man you love and who loves you and getting to the altar isn't the end of things. Sometimes it's just the beginning of your journey to find out who you are. Paper Hearts, Deborah Williamson, 4.5 stars. Chancy Deal is a 15-year-old runaway who left her abusive mother in Pittsburgh and traveled west to Oklahoma. She meets octogenarian Max Boyle after spending the night sleeping in his car. Max has problems of his own. Social service threatens to force him into an assisted living situation, but he wants to continue living in his own home. In exchange for providing her a place to stay, Max Chancy to propose as a friend of the family so that the social worker will stop meddling. Teen recommendations. Love Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, 4 stars. Stargirl has left her school and Leo, the boy she loved in Arizona. Now in the world's largest letter to him, she described her new, still unique life in Pennsylvania. She's homeschooled and still manages to find beauty in all things different. Oh, Max Cabot, I know that one. Meg Cabot, sorry. Jinx. Jean, better known as Jinx because of all the bad luck that follows her, has to move her aunt's place in Manhattan to escape something horrible that happened to her back home. Inspirational fiction? Karen Kingsbury. Kingsbury's character development. Dane and Katie Matthews are basking in the joy of their new marriage as they embark on the challenge of filming a movie together. But not everything about the experience is sunshine and roses. In fact, very little of it is turning out positively. Can their fledgling marriage survive the trials of Hollywood? Lori Wick, Cassidy. Cassidy Norton enjoys her life in Token Creek, Montana territory. She's a talented seamstress who is blessed with many friends and involved with the local church. She longs to be a wife and mother more than anything, but she's concerned that secrets about her past will prevent her from obtaining her dream. Science fiction fantasy. Now, I will say that upon reflection, these are more fantasy than sci-fi. I don't see much sci-fi in here. Michelle Sagara, 4.5 stars, Cast in Secret. Although she's gained some wisdom through her recent adventures, Private Caitlin Naylor still has not mastered the art of keeping her mouth shut. When Caitlin is told to investigate a robbery, she has no idea that she'll soon be racing to save an entire city from annihilation. Brendan Sanderson, 4.5 stars, The Well of Accession. The peasants have overthrown the Lord Ruler. There's a new king, and Vin has no idea what to do about Kelsler, who masterminded the revolution. Feeling overwhelmed at the task of rebuilding society, she wanders the mists at night, dueling with another Mistborn and trying to figure out her relationship with Eldon, the idealistic young king. I have a visitor who hates being on TV. Go. Go. Oh, here's one. Harry Turtledove. I've seen his books. The Confederate States of America, led by zealot Jake Featherstone, is still at war with the United States. CSA factories produce better arms than their counterparts, but the U.S. production is faster. Both sides, as well as the European allies, are working on atomic bombs, and the arms race is on. Romantic suspense. Agnes and the Hitman. Okay. Jennifer Cruz and Bob Mayer. Agnes Crandall, a.k.a. Food Karma's cranky Agnes, is up to her eyeballs in challenges, the biggest of which is pulling off mafia wedding of her house next week. Agnes' mob princess goddaughter Maria Fortunato is marrying old Southern money, but for some reason Maria's grandmother is trying to sabotage the wedding. Shannon McKenna, Edge of Midnight. 15 years after the fact, Sean McLeod is not convinced his twin brother committed suicide. A series of threats to Sean's ex-girlfriend Olivia Endicott leaves them no choice but to team up and track down the twisted individual targeting Olivia. Susan Brockman, Force of Nature. Former cop PI Rick Alvaro and his assistant Annie Dugan take on a supposedly simple missing person case, only to wind up in the middle of an FBI investigation into terrorism. When Rick and Ann's client tries to kill the son of Florida crime lord Gordon Burns, they prevent it, which places them in good standing with Burns. Ooh, Stephanie Bond. 2 bodies for the price of 1. 4 stars. 10 years ago, Carlotta Wynn's father jumped bail and fled to avoid doing time for investment fraud. He took her mother and Charlotta life as she knew it with him, skipping college to get a job. Neiman Marcus and raised her younger brother Wesley actually did Carlotta good, but her life's been colorful lately to say the least. Mystery and thriller. Beyond Reach, Karen Slaughter, 4.5 stars. Sarah and Jeffrey leave their rural Georgia home to travel to a nearby county where Lena, one of Jeffrey's officers, has been arrested. She was brought in after she was found near a flaming car with a body inside, and so far she's refused to talk to anyone. When Sarah attempts to engage her in conversation, Lena runs away from the hospital where she's being treated for her minor injuries. The Burnt House, Faye Kellerman. The crash of a commuter plane into an LA apartment complex is disaster. After the fires are out and most of the bodies are recovered, Lieutenant Peter Decker is approached by a pair of grieving parents who claim that their daughter, flight attendant Roseanne Dresden, didn't die in the crash. Her husband killed her and used the crash to cover it up. Decker is inclined to think they are mistaken until the last female body is recovered and it's not Roseanne. 2 books in here by Mariah Stewart. Both got 4.5 stars. The Last Words and The Last Breath. Lisa Jackson gets a honorable mention. Contemporary romance, Tangled Up in You. Rachel Gibson got 4.5 stars. When true crime writer Maddie Dupree finds her late mother's diary, she sets off to uncover a long-buried secret, one that leads her back to Truly, Idaho. Mac Hennessy, a 35-year-old former Army pilot who owns a bar in Truly, is the one man whose personal history intermingles with Maddie's. Susan Wiggs, 4.5 stars, Dockside. For years, single mom Nina Romano has dreamed of buying the inn on Willow Lake, and now as her daughter leaves for college, she's going to do it. But Greg Bellamy gets there first. Even worse, Greg wants Nina to manage the place for him. Alright. So, we get to the section where I bought all the books. The Devil May Cry, Sherilyn Kenyon. We will do this series in its entirety. This is like, there's 2 different storylines that intermingle with Sherilyn. And for those of you who are fans of hers, she does a weekly podcast on Thursdays at 8 Eastern Standard Time. So you can check her out there too. Sin, an ancient Sumerian god, was one of the most powerful among his pantheon, until the night that Artemis stole his godhood by trickery and left him one step from death. Trust of any kind died in him that night as well. For millennia, his ex-god turned dark hunter as dreamed of only regaining his powers and seeking revenge on Artemis. If only life were that simple. Unfortunately, his bigger fish are in Sin's case demons to fry. The lethal Galu that were buried by his pantheon are now stirring, and they are hungry for human flesh. We will do this series, and we will do Asheron too. Remember, if you read Acheron, and we will talk about this when I do it, I always tell people read the entire book at least once or twice. And then future reads, unless you really want a really good cry, start at part 2 and read forwards. Unless, of course, you really want a good cry and you're one of those people that loves to be depressed and sad and miserable and go through an entire box of tissues, then you can read the first part of Acheron. Because what they do to Acheron in the first part of the book is just... this one I couldn't find, but I do have it someplace. Laura Tanner's Shame. For years, Shame Talent has led a double life as an aide to her father, General Cyrus Talent, a member of the Genetics Council, and as a spy for the feline breeds. Only Jonas Wyatt knows of the Shame spying, so she's revealed in the breed community. We talked about this one the other day. This got 4.5 stars. Christina Dodd, Touch of Darkness. Handsome, powerful Ruth Wicca battles the darkness without and the darkness within. He possesses the powers to transform himself into a fierce bird of prey, and that gift has caused death and destruction. At last he has offered the chance to redeem himself and break the evil pact that has held the family in thrall for centuries. Hidden Moon, we started this before. When a tourist claims to have been mauled by a vicious wolf and when the attacks turn deadly, Malachi's strange behavior rouses Claire's suspicion. Could he have a secret agenda and a sinister reason for coming to Lake Bluff? Check that out. We will do this series too. Jennifer Armentrout, Ashes to Ashes, 4 stars. Being a vampire is a life or death situation. When I was first turned, I had only my survival to worry about. Now I'm locked in a battle for the existence of the entire human race, and the cards are definitely stacked against me. The voluntary vampire extinction movement headquarters are destroyed, and their pet horror, the Oracle, is on the loose. She'll stop at nothing to turn the world into vampire paradise, even if it means helping the Soul Eater become a god and harnessing his power for her own evil needs. On the Prowl, Patricia Briggs and Karen Chance and Sunny. Patricia Briggs was the Alpha and Omega. We will do this series, and we will do Mercy too at some point. The werewolf Anna finds a new sense of self when the son of the werewolf king comes to town to quell unrest in the Chicago pack and inspires a power in Anna she never felt before. And 4 stars, Carrie Arthur, the Riley Jensen series. We will do this series at some point. Part vamp, part werewolf, and it's very steamy, by the way. Very, very, very steamy. Part vamp, part werewolf, Riley Jensen plays her own rules, whether it's her stormy love life or her job as guardian. But when her family alpha male demands that she solve the mystery of a vanished girl, Riley can feel a trap closing in around her. Because the job comes with a catch. If Riley fails, her own mother will die. We're going through some issues this week. We lost a baby. Everybody's adjusting and everybody's mourning. Are you okay? Okay. Oh, a few honorable mentions for the Harlequin crew. Mommy for a Minute, Judy Christenberry. Ryan's Renovation, Maren Thomas. High Stakes Honeymoon, Ray Ann Thane. Secret Agent Reunion, Caridad Pinero. Medusa Affair, Cindy Dees. So that's about it for this week. This book also had an erotic section we will not discuss. But they used to have big, huge conventions. We talked about that previously. This was the best magazine in the whole world way back when to me. So I hope you enjoyed Flashback Monday, and forgot this one, Blood Rose. Sexy. It's a vampire. Thought I'd mention that quickly. It was in here and I passed over it. So Flashback Monday, and we'll have to see if some of my experiments worked. They probably didn't, but we'll have to see if it works or not. And don't forget Star Trek Fridays. We're doing season 4, Dish 3. So check that out on Fridays. At season 4, disc 1, what am I saying? We just finished the Borg encounter, and Picard's getting over that, and the family, and the other ones. So please check it out on Fridays. Please check out my daily book reviews, and please hit the like and subscribe. I could use the like and support from the general public. There is nobody else to do it for me, so you guys, please hit the like and subscribe. Thank you.